Early one morning, the three of them hired a boat and went rowing far out on Windermere. And amid the glassy silence, Tennyson suddenly burst into poetry. Fitzgerald recalled resting on our oars and looking into the lake, quite unruffled and clear. He quoted from the lines he had lately read us from his manuscript of the poem Mort d'Arthur about the lonely lady of the lake. The exact lines sent echoing over the waters were these: King Arthur's sword Excalibur, wrought by the lonely maiden of the lake, 9 years she wrought it, sitting in the deeps upon the hidden bases of the hills. For a moment, Fitzgerald was left speechless, but also rather embarrassed. But after a solemn pause, Tennyson innocently exclaimed, "Not bad, that Fitz, is it?" So the friendship was sealed in a burst of laughter that echoed long after the poetry, far over the lake. Throughout the In Memoriam poem, religion and science, what do you believe, how did the world begin? Is nature a creative, kindly force with God behind it, or is it maybe a meaningless force, which is cruel? And that falls at him all the time. And I think up to the point that he becomes poet laureate, they're equally pulled. And gradually, as he becomes more celebrated, I think his position becomes much more established, his belief, and he's happier with his traditional religious beliefs, I think.
It's beautifully written, as you would expect, but it's absolutely fascinating about how Tennyson, the young Tennyson, was interested in science, particularly astronomy and geology, and how this fed into his work. So it's not a conventional biography in that it doesn't cover the whole of Tennyson's life, but in a way it covers the more interesting years of Tennyson's life before he became the great bearded laureate and a Victorian. And Holmes is very, very good on writing about the early poetry and quoting it and analysing it in relation to science and the crisis of belief. So it's beautifully done. I think it's a terrific book.